nice to have you join us this morning. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igubike.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
All right, we'll be heading straight to our newspaper headlines to feed you with all that we have on our newspaper headlines for today. And right after that will be our main conversation for today also. But please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always find and reach us at enterprise@tvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. We have in the studios with us Cyril Abaku, journalist, public affairs analyst, to go through all that we have. Good morning, Cyril.
Good
Welcome.
morning,
Gemma.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's kickstart today with what's making rounds across the world.
Yeah, and we'll be getting into the Israel and Hezbollah issue. And I'll just give a little rundown to that particular story. Israel and Hezbollah, the militant group based in Lebanon, have reached a 60-day ceasefire agreement. U.S. President Joe Biden said the deal would lead to a permanent cessation of hostilities. And Biden added that the U.S. would lead another push for a ceasefire in Gaza. Negotiators have described the Israel-Hezbollah deal as the foundation for a lasting truce. Now, we'll be getting into this particular story. And Cyril Abako, and now, despite the ceasefire deal, Israel has warned residents, especially those based in Lebanon, not to go back to their place of residence yet. If this is going to lead to a lasting truce, and Israel is already telling those based in Lebanon not to return to their place of abode and residence yet, what is the contradiction here? Do you think Israel is 100% ready to let go?
Well, I think the ceasefire came into effect yesterday.
Yes.
And as far as we've seen, there's been substantial compliance, both from Israel and Hezbollah. As a matter of fact, against official advice. And both Lebanese living in southern Lebanon, which is a Hezbollah stronghold, and Israelis living in northern Israel, of course, which is Israel, are both gladly returning to their places, which is something really instructive, which means that over and above a peace deal brokered in Washington by America and France, there's largely the buy-in of the people who are more than willing to embrace peace. War doesn't do anybody any good. It's bad enough that October 7 last year came when Hamas fired rockets into Gaza, into Israel, killing about 1,400 people or so. And the following day, Hezbollah borrowed a leaf from Hamas's playbook to also minimally strike Israel. But the point is, this is Israel. And you see what in 1 year, see what the consequences have been. They've cleared out the entire Hezbollah top brass. They've killed their leader. They've bombed and devastated. But the point is that Hezbollah still has capacity to fight back and even force a ceasefire. Just goes to show how much entrenched armed conflict is in the Middle East.
True.
But it does us a world of good to see Israel and Hezbollah come back to the table. And it's also instructive and important for us to note here. You know, Resolution 1701, the famous 1701 resolution 2006, right? When Israel and Hezbollah had an all-out war. Resolution of the UN that saw to the end of that war. It's formed the foundation for the current ceasefire. And there is a lot of hope that it could lead permanently to a cessation of hostilities. To the extent that Hezbollah fighters are going to retreat about 40 kilometers from their positions in northern Israel. Okay? And then Israel will also cease to... But you see, the thing is, I found it a bit, shall I say, interesting. Hours before the ceasefire was announced, they were still at each other's throats. But as soon as the ceasefire was announced by Biden, you saw everything. So it's as if, again, Israel has warned that if they notice any breach, especially at the Litani River, that they wouldn't hesitate to take military action. So we don't pray that we go back to war. War anywhere in the world is war everywhere in the world. Because we're discussing it here now. So it's important that all parties to the deal and to the game play by the rules, and that everything that's happened, the deaths that have happened, the killings that have happened, the devastation, the loss of homes, the bombardment of neighborhoods, killing of civilians, up to this point is enough. we
Now,
don't need a continuation.
Very well said. Let's call this messing after that. One of the reasons Kamala Harris didn't pull through was, one of them actually, was because of the large pool of Arab Americans in Michigan who decided that they were not going to vote for her because of the actions of Joe Biden not calling Benjamin Netanyahu to order. And now, just close to less than 2 months to January, when Donald Trump will take over, Joe Biden, of course, reached a truce. So do you think this is coming too late? If that, why do you think it came now and not before the elections? That, of course, would have
been in favor of
instrumental
Harris.
to Kamala Harris.
So I even think that, no, the reason, Biden wasn't exactly able to rein in Netanyahu. It is on his head this whole thing falls. We saw when his defense minister, was he Yoav Gallant, left the government. Now, you know that there are two major, Netanyahu's return to power was enabled by his alignment with the ultra-conservative, the far-right wing of the Israeli political class. You have Ben Gvir. There's a man, there's Ben Gvir. There's also Bezalel Smotrich. These two men were certain that they didn't want the war to stop. Those are the war hawks. So on the cabinet, out of 11, Netanyahu only needed 6 votes, 6 to 5. So before the vote even took place, two of those men, two of his, we are already sure to vote against an end to the war, or we are to vote against the ceasefire. But it was also certain that because Israel needed to gauge the mood in Washington, the Biden presidency is as good as fate is done. So it won't be good for them to continue a war, which is really a costly thing, which is really a serious business. It's business. For it to be at war in the face of uncertainty, they don't necessarily what Trump is going to come, and so it is good for them to reach the ceasefire now and wait
and know what the new transition will look like.
If when Trump comes, Trump says, "I'm for war." Believe me, this thing you're saying is
would start
okay,
off
now talking about Trump, and a lot of persons feel Trump is most times in his emotions. He's very raw and brutal with his words. Do you think Trump would be in a better position to handle this when he comes into power?
Well, okay, so right now, there's already a ceasefire, which is a good thing. Hezbollah and like I said, in less than 24 hours, there have been substantial compliance. People are throwing rice in the air in Lebanon. It's matter of celebration. Yes, they are happy that they're going back to them. And that is even because what Hezbollah and Tel Aviv have said is, you people guys don't go back yet. Let's see that. Let's make sure the thing. But people are saying we know.
People are already going
back to their homes.
Yes, in their droves.
In their droves, sprint through. So it just tells you that people want peace more than war. But the leadership will wait. Trump has to come into office. You see, there are two things that have happened. One is that whereas in the war between Ukraine and Russia, Biden is sort of escalating things. In the war between Israel and Hezbollah, he's scaling things down. And we can look at these two different approaches to conflict from a strategic American point of view, which is to say, parties to the conflict, do what you can now before Trump comes to office. Trump is not as impulsive as you think. I think that his second coming has enabled even me to understand and read him better. You know, Trump is Germanic in origin.
Yeah, he is.
So you hear him say he's for high IQs. He's a billionaire businessman. These men think at levels that are way higher. So why war? Why not peace? So you can make all the countries make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Trump is after.
Yeah.
Look at all the people that are attached to him. Elon Musk. Elon Musk didn't spend up to $3 billion for the election. Maybe some million.
About 100 million actually.
Do you know how much? In 24 hours, he made $55 billion extra after the election. His electric company, because of course they know this man is going to go into government, he's going to get it. So he made $55 billion just election night alone. So these people are for it.
It's a win-win for everyone.
And that's what they come on. He's a business. He's an investor. Let there be peace and let things go well. So that's what Trump is after. Again, when you look at the history of Ukraine, Russia, in a manner of speaking, NATO should have held itself back from letting this whole thing that got to this point. And when they were told at the Pentagon and at the White House and even at NATO that Putin had put the Russian army at war footing 7 years before he invaded Ukraine. They didn't take them seriously. Now we have access to classified information that this man had done. But the Russian army is working three shifts per day, 25 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the days in a month, all year round. So, but it doesn't pay the world to be at war. So this is what Trump is after. Then as for the Israeli conflict, you can see that out of mindfulness for such a man, they are towing the path of peace.
Now, towing the path of peace, just before we leave this story, Hezbollah, Hamas, they are both stubborn grass. No matter how much you try to weed them off, they always find a way of sprouting back.
True.
Now, what do you think will be left of these two groups?
Well, it's the you know, when somebody had the business here and said shit business is good business, you know, so it's the business of the business, it's the nature of the business. The more they come, the more you crush them to well, I mean, it's the business of the, because the other alternative of letting them grow too tall means so you have to just keep you keep at it. It's the best you can do. You keep at it. But besides that, the other thing is, because they are fighting a war of ideology, a war of the mind, a war of doctrine, a war of belief. So you can also deal with the belief system. Dealing with the belief system was part of what they used to crush ISIS. They found a way to crush the ISIS, the idea. Yeah, that's what they did. So I've also advocated it in Nigeria that Boko Haram and Co., why are you wasting time? Lafia Dole does not deal with Boko Haram. You're not telling, it doesn't counter the message. Lafia Dole can be applied to any theater of war. So you're not dealing with Boko Haram directly. If they say book is haram, is forbidden, give them something that counters. There was a radio station tried it in Kano. They wanted to broadcast anti-Boko Haram messages, but I don't know if they lasted long. You need such things. Today now, who speak to our brothers in the north? BBC Hausa does, Deutsche Welle Hausa does, maybe VOA Hausa does, and so on. What of us? They are listening to people who have nothing to offer them for local. But why are we not talking to them?
Thank you.
Because we're the ones who know what the issues are. Who talk to them for? If you think that broadcasting is just talking and people don't listen, it's not true. When we communicate the way we ought to communicate, we have to elicit a response, and we can measure how they are responding to what we are saying. But nobody is thinking about that. The defense, now look at, they said they spent $8.8 billion, $8.8 billion to repair.
They vandalized the transmission cables and all.
You are creating an industry to throw money out. $8 billion. Sorry. No. That's a lot of money.
Very true.
How much does it cost to build
a new transmission line?
Thank
but
you so
just before
much,
we have less than 4 minutes to go, let's go to Guardian newspaper for today. 555,000 shareholders forfeit 215 billion dividends over cost and inflation.
Details are on page 6 for that particular story. Moving on, ABU decries 310 million naira per session electricity bill.
All right, Nigeria has sufficient resources to build self-reliant economy, says Obasanjo.
And court remands Bello 2 others over alleged 110 billion naira fraud.
All right, I created more states to douse fears of northern domination, says General Gowon.
Okay, let's look at this particular story. As said, about 555,000 shareholders forfeit 215 billion dividend over costs and inflation. Details, can you get a reaction on that particular story?
That's like value that was creamed off of their share value. So, no, don't fret too much over it. What it means is, my understanding of it, I hope I'm correct, is that if the value of the naira came back to shape, that value will come back. Because, you know, they say money, the value is intrinsic. It's intrinsic. So, it's like somebody told me he bought land in a place, and maybe bought for like 2 million. 2 years later, he sold it for 4 million. He now said, serious, it looks like I made money, right? I said, yes. He said, he didn't make any money. That let us convert the value of 4 million naira into the dollar.
Oh, okay.
And
which is the benchmark
with what it should have been 2 years ago and what it is now, because the ostensible thing we are doing is that we are saying 2 million is now worth 4 million today. But he said he didn't make any money because when you convert it into the dollar, the value is less. You see now.
True.
So, but if the value of the naira to the dollar now increases, that's a 4 million naira. Is it not the reason if you put 10 naira in 1960, you were like today's millionaire? 10 naira in 1960 was no, there was no naira. 10 shillings in 1960 was what you probably stole that money. But 10 now, if you let that 10 naira in the bank to this day, I don't know what you will be now. Because the money will be there and
it's waste.
It's waste.
Total waste.
But yeah, so that's the point. If the economy can go back to where it was in 1960, that with your 10 naira you can buy a car, buy land, buy house, buy
now, just before, while the central bank were asking banks to recapitalize and all that, different banks were trying to raise,
and
funds.
Nigerians want to buy shares out of the frenzy.
Back in the days, and now. So, do you think it makes sense any longer to want to invest your hard-earned money on shares in Nigeria?
Let me give you a standard answer. But it's the civilized thing to do. Where would you put your money instead?
Economically, does it make any sense?
Well, I mean, you have to have faith in your banks.
Have faith.
Talk to your financial advisor.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's get into thank you so much, Sailor Bako. Let's get into the Punch newspaper. We're running out of time. And on the top strip, you have Tinubu to name new envoys after France, South Africa visits.
And also, Finnish court sets May 2025 date for Ekpa's trial.
Okay, moving on. 30-year experience prepared me for the COAS job that is coming from Oluyede.
And also the big story here, Port Harcourt refinery marketers threaten boycott as NNPCL juggles a petrol price.
Okay, and on the bottom strip you have reps to probe 4.8 trillion naira allegedly withheld by NNPCL.
All right, so let's talk about the Port Harcourt refinery. Yes. The marketers are saying it is selling for 1,075 naira.
Brother, let me
other people are even calling it a blending plant, not even a refinery.
let me give you the story. I don't want to indulge in conspiracy, but those who are sure that refinery is producing petrol as of today are those who are sure. You got what I mean?
No.
Only those who have seen it are the ones who have indeed seen it. You and I have not seen it.
Yeah.
Because you say you are producing petrol from there now, and that off-taking has begun. At what price? Because the petrol, they said their spokesman said it was going to be selling for higher than Dangote's own petrol, and marketers said no way, we are not going to buy at that price. It must be lower. It must be cheaper. Now let me ask you: if anybody has off-taking, how much did they off-take it? Nobody has off-taken. Now, the thing is that, how is it that you say off-taking has started and there's no price yet? We've started producing. So how much? No price. I don't know. They said there's off-taking to their own refineries. That's how I know that something is not right with what's going on. And at the risk of making up, what I said yesterday was that there may be no petrol in that place until maybe February, January. If at all what they said is true. You won't say anything. Because if petrol is ready, you should have announced we are selling as well. All of you come and off-take. Nobody is going there. Why do you say the thing is ready for? And in fact, so
how about the images we see on the video of trucks and all that?
Which images did we see? The NNPC is telling us that for now they are supplying to their own NNPC.
Okay.
But it must be at a cost. Is it free of charge? It must be at a cost. It has to be at a cost. Nobody knows the cost. Do you know, after the spokesman for, is it Joseph Obele, after the spokesman spoke and said it was selling for higher than Dangote's own, Billy Gilisari, the chairman of Petrol, came out and said that what the man said was not true. I don't understand why.
Now, who is supposed to be asking the necessary questions to NNPC, and who is NNPC supposed to be answering to?
So this is the thing. It depends. One is commercial, one is administrative. Commercially, The end is, if you say, it's like saying, I book my boutique, this is my clothes, but there's no price tag on them. You say, I'm only selling to my husband and my children. Is that not fraud? And you say your orders open to the public. It's fraud. What people even do is that before they open the business, they say, coming soon.
Yes.
But they didn't do that.
Now speak.
Somebody gave them, and she asked me a question.
Yes, please do.
Commercially, they should be answering to the marketers now. Say, we are open, come and buy petrol at 900 naira per liter. But they can't even fix price yet. What are they waiting for? How don't they know what? That's why I say I smell a rat in that thing.
Now,
Number two, administratively is to the president or to the minister, Lokobiri, and through him to the president, because they should be the ones asking, okay, you. So how much? But nobody, and the president is in France. How they won't say when the president comes, then they will now know how
what cost that will be.
Now, at this point, are we going to say the emergence of Dangote refinery is now helping the Port Harcourt refinery wake up and will bet the other refineries to come to life?
Then add to this the difference between a blending plant and a refinery.
I'm not an expert, but I can help you understand.
Okay.
Something. See, let me tell you, those refineries, nobody wanted to buy them. I hope you know, they were as dead can be. So for government to even say that they wanted to, because I was always optimistic. Refining isn't a very difficult thing. In Biafra, people are refining all sorts of things. In fact, don't let me go there. Refining, but when everybody kept on saying we won't buy, the even federal government that claimed to have done 95% of the mechanical turnaround maintenance in December last year. Sometimes, let's not forget that some weeks ago they came and said that they are looking for people that will buy them off. They didn't see. So they'll suddenly come up and say the thing is working. Maybe I should jump in and believe it. I won't do that. So it that go take coming on stream on if those things could work, the way I know Nigerian government operate, before they will give Dangote all the leeway they gave him, they would have tied it to some condition or one thing or the other to make sure that those financial, because it doesn't pay anybody. Let me leave the refineries issue. You are asking of blending plant.
Yes, a blending plant, because people have said it's rather a blending plant.
No, what I mean, because like I said, I don't want to dwell in the name of conspiracy theories. They said they brought some things into the place and then to come and take it out.
Take it out.
Is it not worse than even being a blending plant? Our problem is this: we are fixated on PMS. Followed by AGO, followed by DPK. But you know that for each barrel of crude, the number of things you can make out of it are nearly 50 something.
Very true.
For 40 plus 50, the Vaselines you rub and everything, they are all from, that's what they say, petroleum jelly.
Sure.
There are a lot of things that come out of it, engine oil and I don't know why everybody's on petrol. This sort of corruption, it is unthinkable. You say petrol is red and you have not fixed price. Or that to even tell us how much you're selling the petrol for. There's confusion about that.
All right, just before we wrap up, let's just look at Daily Trust. The big story here, tax bill. Senate brushes aside opposition, admits our presidential committee to debate proposed reform legislation today. Okay,
on the top strip you have TET Fund suspends foreign scholarship over costs.
All right. Over cost and abscondment.
Abscondment, yes.
All right, so let's take a look at that. There used to be a time when it was interesting. Yeah, it used to be a time when it was interesting. You know, every young lad who graduates from school is hoping to apply for that, you know, taken to Ivy League schools, and they don't come back, obviously.
True.
Now, with the Tinubu government asking it should be wiped off, what do you think this is about? Is it good for us?
It's very bad. It's very bad. Scholarship thrives on something they call, one of the things it thrives on is what they call international collaboration. We shouldn't be educated this way. I personally tried learning some languages that are other than the English language. I've taken my personal time to study cultures across Europe and other parts of the world. This is my way of opening my mind to her. Yeah, so a proper scholar is someone who has a mindset to interrogate what he does not know, not to condemn or push it aside. So when we expose them to more than just what is Nigeria, they go there, they learn, they're open-minded. It helps to this is even the real goal of education, to give you a mind that is able to interpret your environment. So you can't do that by being Jegede Peter, primary school, Idioro, secondary school, Idiroko, university,
University of Lagos.
Then masters, everything is in one place.
And you now walk your service back to Lagos.
Then when you now look critically at everything you have seen, you see, because you can't rise more than what you see. All the people you have seen are people of this, and this applies to every part of Nigeria. I'm just using it, and so you can't rise and dream. You can't talk to people who are leading research in any field around the world. Nigeria is not leading any research in anything around the world. Even in our worst problems like power, electricity, even medicine, we're not world leaders. We're only people who are embracing just learning to get certificate and make ends meet. So, on that score, it's not because of money that they are an government. It is for lack of ideas. There was something wrote Amechi did. I was in trial level when they came and said Amechi had become governor. He was awarding at the scholarships. Was he not the governor? I think it was the one. He said if you went there, no, as a lecturer, I think if you went there, scholarship, you will come back and serve for like 3 or 4 or 5 years, then you'll be free. You can't. So what is it that they don't have those ideas? I'm asking. I don't think it's abscondment. They will sign.
Yeah, definitely.
They will sign. Some go to Russia. Some go to the UK. You deliberately send some to the Far East. Yeah. Some should go to because learn Oriental science and so on. Some go to Eastern Europe. Some go to the West. Some go. You distribute them, and so that if the one that schooled in China can come back to Ile-Ife, lecture there, Sabati can maybe go to Port Harcourt. That influence is rubbing off on people, and we are seeing how people are doing things in different ways.
Very true.
In Russia, there are universities where you see Russians speaking Igbo. Maybe we don't know. They buy our newspapers and read them every day. They understand Igbo culture more than some of us even do here. Yes, and they are Russians. It is their work to study cultures around the world. This is the reason when they make phones and they want to write the Igbo program for phones, they don't need to come here. They have it. So we are not doing ourselves any good by underlearning and being undertaught. It is not a good thing. What they should be thinking of is how can we make it in a way that the errors that are taken out and that we are getting the best out of the program. But believe me, you see, the people who are privileged will keep getting their privileges. The laws are made for the poor.
Definitely.
Justice is for come on.
Because this will not stop
yes,
the governors, the political leaders from not taking their words and their keys.
Our governors traveled to Harvard Kennedy School of Government to learn governance. The other day, the Americans invited some governors to come and learn how to speak. Let me say this. Nigeria once had people like Professor Claude Aki. Claude Aki, we've had the likes of... there are so many of them that I can name here. So many of them in the one for my Enogi in the social sciences, Enogi. Several of them like that. There was even this man that is it a table so that was the first African to do a PhD at Harvard, or the first African to come out of Harvard or something. People whose records have not been broken at Harvard. They are the ones who are supposed to come back home and give local color to what they have learned. No matter how they want to teach you and advise you, they cannot do it as it can be done by us and for us here locally. So you're stopping them from traveling. It's not. The minister should rethink these things. I don't know how we advised him to come and say that they are stopping it because of what? Lack of now that the president went to France, which money is easy to go to France?
Exactly. And why must it be France?
So one day he's in Britain. Now I just want to let my plane pass to France. I'll spend 5 days there. We don't know what he's doing there. He's in France. All that money is going, and our scholars cannot go and study.
Thank you so much, Cyril.
Very so unfortunate. Thank you, Cyril, for being part of our show. We totally do appreciate it.
Thank you. And when we return, ex-Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello remanded in EFCC custody till December 10, 2024, as Federal High Court dismisses Governor Sanwo-Olu's alleged case against EFCC. We'll be right back to stay with us.